Alright, in this video I'm going to show you the full creative system behind brands doing 100k a day. And at the end of this video I'll show you exactly how to copy this system and implement it in your business within 90 days. So we first have to look at what a creative system is, and it consists of three pillars. You have the creative strategy, which is the fuel. You have the team, which is the thruster, and then you have the process and workflow, which is the base of the rocket. Now, each pillar has a few sub-pillars. So the creative strategy has a sub-pillar of customer research, creative research, and feedback loops. And then the team has roles, communication, and culture. And then the process and workflow contains workflow, which is the process itself, and the softwares. And within this video, I'll show you, or I'm going to walk through every single one of these pillars and show you exactly how these work. So let's start with the creative strategy. So the goal here is to get the best performance possible. And there is a common misconception that scaling to 100k a day is all about just making more creatives, which is simply not true. It's not just about making more creatives. Most of the time, it's about making creatives with intention. You should not just look at making as much creatives as possible, which a lot of brands are doing, but you also have to look at the quality of the creative. So what is the research behind it and all these different things, which I'm going to walk through now. Because what's happening if you just focus solely on the quantity of your ads, you're going to create, let's say, 100 ads in a month, and your hit rate is going to be 1%. So only 1% of these 100 ads that you make is going to turn into a winner, which makes scaling very hard. It's going to waste your time, it's going to waste resources, it's going to burn out your team, it's very frustrating to deal with, and it's generally just very hard to scale this way. Then if you focus on the quality of your ad, you can launch 100 ads and have a hit rate of, let's say, 12%. So 12 of the 100 ads actually turn into a winner, which makes scaling a lot easier because you have a high winner ratio. You're working way more efficient, it's way more scalable, and it actually takes you less time to find winners, which means that you can scale faster. So take off here. Not just focus on the quality or on the quantity, but also focus on the quality, because this is what's happening. You are all focusing on quantity instead of the quality, and this is a ratio that's off. So I'm not saying that quality should go all the way up and quantity should go all the way down, but they should actually be both in harmony. Now, how do we actually determine the quality of an ad, or how do we improve the quality of an ad? It's the customer research, the creative research, and the feedback loops. So I'm going to walk through them right now. And like I said, if you want to have a full breakdown of this, then check the previous video. So customer research, the goal here is to understand our customer. It's nothing more than that. We don't have to make it more complicated. It's just about understanding our customers. So we need to know what their current state is, and we need to know what their desired state is. And your product is just the vessel taking them from A to C. So taking them from their current state to their desired state. Now, what is their current state? Well, we want to know what their problems are, what their pain points are, which solutions they've already tried, which objections they might have, and what triggers them to actually buy our product. So we need to get a very good understanding of where they are right now and what they are facing. And then we also need to understand their desired state, which is the desired outcomes, the reliefs, the results that they want to have, and the goals that they have. So how do you actually find these different states? And that's by doing the research. And I use 3 different platforms for that, and you want to do this too, which is Answer the Public. Here you can find what people are searching on Google. So you can find questions and answers, but mostly you get an understanding of what your audience is dealing with right now and which questions are in their head. Then you can use Amazon, or let's say Trustpilot, to look at the reviews and see which complaints people have, or what struggles they had, or how the product, or if you do not have reviews yourself, how a competitor's product, which is like the same as yours, how it's helping their customers and how it transformed the lives of their customers. So that's really valuable as well. And then the third one, which is my personal favorite, is Reddit. Because on Reddit, you can just basically search everyone. So let's say that we are looking, we have a product that solves neck pain, and I want to know what people are, like what problems people have with neck pain. So what I do is I just search neck pain on Reddit, and then I go through the threads that are in here, you know, and I start reading what people are saying here, what their problems are. So I can read all of this, and I can read all of the reviews, I can read all of the questions on Answer the Public, but that's going to take me a lot of time. So what you want to do is you want to use ChatGPT for this, or a different AI, to basically break everything down for you. So you put everything in AI and you just ask him what you want to know. And I have a full prompt for this. It's not showing right now, but I have a full prompt for this, and you can find that in the link in this description. So definitely check that out, and it's going to be really, really helpful for you to basically save you 6 hours a week in research. So pillar number 2 is the creative research. And the goal here is to find content that is already working. We don't always want to reinvent the wheel, because that's just going to take a lot of time and it's going to take a lot of effort. And we simply do not have that, right? So don't always try to figure out everything yourself, and start by copying what works. Because, you know, there's a lot of brands out there, and a lot of brands have already tried a lot of things, spend a lot of money on trying all these things and testing all these things to see if it works. So you can do the exact same thing, and you can spend all of this money on testing and figuring everything out, but you'll probably run against the same things that these other brands have ran across. So you can copy what they're doing and then make it your own. So I'm not saying that you should just blindly copy everything. That won't work, but you have to like give it your own sauce. You have to personalize it and make it your own for your brand. So what I'd recommend is to start with finding organic viral videos on TikTok and Instagram. And here you want to look for lots of likes, lots of saves, which is a big one, because when people save a video, you know, it's a different interaction than just liking. Liking happens a lot faster. There's less intention when people like a video, and when people save a video, they actually want to watch it another time. So this is a higher intent of engagement. And then look for the date. So is it still somewhat relevant? Let's say it's the 22th of October 2025. So if I find now a video of let's say April 2020, it's not really going to be relevant anymore, you know. So you can still test it, but I say watch videos that at least have been like uploaded in the last year. And it also depends a little bit on the market that you're in, but you're going to find them. So here I basically typed in on TikTok neck pain, and you find all of these. So let me just walk you through very quickly and show you what that looks like. I think you all know TikTok, but let's just go through it one moment. So here we find videos. I'm not logged in right now, so I'm not getting a lot, but basically what we're doing, yeah, I can show you this, but so you get what I mean. You know, you get all these videos, you watch the likes, and you just check these videos, and you can then save these videos. But the most important thing that we do when we have found these videos is to learn why they are working and which elements are beneficial for the results of these videos. And we do that by reverse engineering it. So what we want to do, this is a video that I found. I think this is a video that I found. And basically what I did is I reverse engineered this entire video. So I took all the shots that are in there, then what is happening in these shots, what are they saying, which visuals are in there. And when doing this, you get a understanding of the video. And basically it's going to be, if you just want to copy it, which I do not recommend, just make it your own, right? But you can just, this is going to be a briefing for you. You know exactly which shots to make, and also, you know, for the editor already knows how to edit the video, right? So this is really big. This is really important to do. So I'd say just do this for a few videos, reverse engineer them, and after doing a few, you'll get a good feeling and understanding of how these videos work. And then there's a very great tool to basically streamline this entire process and make everything super efficient, and easy, which is Triatria. And that's a very great tool for saving videos and ads for inspiration. So basically, I don't know if you have a phone app, but you have a Chrome extension, and when you're searching or when you're scrolling on TikTok or on Instagram, or in the Facebook ad library as well, you have this button which says save to Triatria, and you can make different boards in there, and you can just save it to that software, and then you can find it at a later time. You can also reverse engineer these videos with their AI. So basically, it's going to give the entire transcript. It's going to say which visuals are in the video, basically what I showed you here, but it's going to do it automatically for you. So you don't have to do it manually. And then you can find trends and winners. So from other brands, but also from your own ad account, because that's what you do. You link your ad account, and then you can also analyze your creatives in there. And why would you want to do that? Well, that's because they make it a lot more visual. So in Meta Ads Manager, when you launch a lot of ads, it's going to be, there's going to be going on a lot. In Triatria, it's going to be like very digestible and visually appealing. So it's making it very easy to work with and to go through this entire process. And if you want to have a free trial, there's a link in my under this video, and you can claim your own 7-day free trial there. All right, and then the fourth one is feedback loops. And the goal here is to have a functional and improving team. So a big part of creative strategy, and that many people neglect, is the communication. And we're going to go in there a little bit deeper in a few minutes. But especially when you have a team, this is what's going to make the difference between doing 10K a day and 100K a day. If your team is not improving, you're just going to be doing the same thing over and over again, and you're not going to break through any like glass ceilings that you encounter along the way of scaling, because you're doing the same thing. So, that's not going to work. Everyone in your team needs to constantly learn, not just you or like the strategist role, but the entire team. So I'm also talking about the video editors and the designers, the videographer, even your UGC creators. Everyone needs to understand what's going on, what is working and what is not working, so you can all improve and lift it up, right? To understand why these feedback loops are important, we first must understand how ads and how content are made, because every video or every content piece, every ad follows the same cycle, and we call that the content cycle. It all starts with researching/analyzing. So I just showed you the research step, but analyzing, what I mean with that is that you watch the videos that you have already pushed on your Meta account or in your ad account, and you analyze these to see what the results are, so you can then iterate or whatever. Then you have script writing and briefing, then you go to filming, editing and designing, and then the testing, and then back again to research and analyzing. This is the content cycle that you follow all the time. Now, the name of the game is to optimize all the steps within this cycle, so you go through it faster, but you also, perform better. And there's two meetings that we want to do, which are the feedback loops in this process, which is the performance meeting and the creative coaching meeting. And just these two meetings, because I'm not a big fan of meetings, but these two meetings are going to be very beneficial for you and your team. Now, how do these work, and what are these? Now, we have the performance meeting, which is with you, the founder or the CMO, the creative strategist, the UGC/influencer manager, and the media buyer. And in this meeting, you review the winning ads, you review the failing ads, what ads are scaling the ad account, which are not. You set up new hypotheses and creative A/B test. So you also discuss new personas, or maybe sales campaigns that you're going to run, or different angles that you want to test. Then you have the creative coaching meetings, and you want to do these bi-weekly, and this is with the creative strategist or the CMO and your video editors and designers. So you take the video editors separately from the designers, because what you're going to do is, again, you're going to review the winning ads, you're going to review the failing ads, and you're going to connect results to certain editing elements or certain designing elements. And then you're going to add new editing guides. So if, for example, a red transcription, I'm not sure why this pops in my head, but let's say a red transcription works better than a green transcription, then you want to put in the editing guides that you should always do a red transcription. So when a new video editor comes in, he's already working the way you want them to work, because that's been tested and that's been backed by data. And then you want to, if you have a new batch coming up, you want to preview the new batch, ask questions, how's it going, etc., etc. So that's it for the creative strategy. You now learned how to build the fuel of the rocket. let's continue with the team, which is the thruster of the rocket. So the goal here is to do the best work possible, or to let your team do the best work, to let them actually thrive within your business. And that's going to be the engine for our rocket. So here we have to understand the roles of a team. The goal of the roles is to stay lean and to build from our core processes. So we don't want to hire a lot of people at once. That's just going to cost a lot of money. That's going to be very chaotic and it's not going to work. So we want to stay as lean as possible for as long as possible, and start by delegating the core processes first. So what I've seen that teams consist of, that doing at least 100K a day, and these are the roles within that team. So you have the founder, their responsibility is to strategize and lead, and this can also be the CMO. Then you have the creative strategist. Their responsibilities is to do the customer and creative research, script writing, briefing, feedbacking, all these things. You have the video editor, who's just editing videos. You got the designer, who's just designing statics. Then you have the media buyer, who's responsible for scheduling and analyzing the ads. Then you have the UGC/influencer manager, which their responsibility is to find new creators and to build relationships and keep relationships with these people. And then you have the videographer, which their responsibility is to film new content when you're doing like physical shooting days. Of course, you don't want to hire all of these people at once, because that's just gonna it's gonna bloat your costs. And when you're not doing 100K a day yet, or you're not near there, you don't want to have all these roles, right? You want to stay lean. So what are the steps of hiring? Well, first, when you're at the beginning of your e-commerce stage, when you're at the first stage of your e-commerce brand, you want to hire a video editor. This is going to be the first hire that you do, because a video editor has a lot of leverage from day one, and it's going to upgrade your content immediately. It's a very specific skill, and it's taking a lot of time as well if you have to do it yourself. So I always say that a video editor is the first role that you hire. Then step 2 is you'll add a designer and a media buyer to that. So now let's say like here you can just create static ads with Canva, or you have some templates, or you hire someone on Fiverr for a few times, and then you're good with that. Now you maybe you want to optimize your website as well. You need a bit more aesthetic, so you're gonna hire the designer, and then you're gonna add a media buyer to your team as well. The third step would be to build this out. So you have the video editor, you have the designer. Maybe you have 2 video editors now, or 2 designers, because the demand is rising. You might add a videographer here, so you can do physical shoots as well, and you can make different type of videos. Let's say founder videos, UGC videos, but also more polished ads, branded ads. And you're gonna put a creative strategist above this team, because at this point, you want to strategize and lead. You don't want to be in the trenches anymore, writing scripts, researching everything, and then also briefing the editors, briefing the designers. That's what you hire a creative strategist for, who is going to take all of that off your plate, and you basically only connect and only speak with the creative strategist. It's your direct link. Then step 4 is to build this out further. And this is really when you get to a close to these 100K days, right? So what you have now is you want to step completely out of the process, all right? So you need a management level role under you, which is going to be either a creative director, head of performance, or a CMO. And these stay the same. So what you have seen here, this is staying exactly the same. We call this a pod. So that's a creative strategist, who is then basically responsible for the video editor, the designers, and the videographer. So this, we basically duplicate it. And then you have the media buyer. And at this point, I would also add a UGC/influencer manager, because you are going to be creating a lot of content. You're in need of a lot of content, and that's part of the business is going to grow, and you're going to need someone who is managing all of that, because your creative strategists are going to be very busy doing other stuff, right? Now, we have a decision to make, or at least sort of, and that's, do we want to work with foreign talent, or do we want to work with local talent? So it depends completely on the goal that you have and what you want to work towards. The pros of foreign talent is that there is just a lower cost per hire, and their hourly rate is a lot lower than local talent, most of the times. It's easier to find because you have a wider talent pool. Often they're highly specialized in niche creative tasks, so think video editing, like direct response video editing. They have a very flexible availability. Then the cons are that there can be a time zone misalignment, that you have to wait until the next day before you can get a response for them because they are sleeping when you are working. There's going to be cultural and communication barriers. And then most of the times we see a lower sense of ownership and team integration. But then again, this also very much depends on your team culture and the way you're doing all of that. So yeah, I would say it's harder, but it's not impossible. Then the pros of local talents, which are in your same country, same region. The pros of them are, well, it's easier to communicate with them, and there is a better creative alignment. There is a stronger team connection and accountability. You basically see them every day within your office or whatever. They're better suited for like on-site shoots or other physical collaborations, and often they are of higher creative quality. The cons are that they are more expensive per hire or per project. There is a smaller talent pool, and it's going to be slower to scale if your local market is limited. So let's say you live in Denmark, which is a small country, or in whatever, Austria or maybe Belgium. You have a smaller talent pool than when you have like the entire world open for you. So that's a con, I would say, of hiring locally. And then there's potentially less diversity in creative perspective. The best choice to go for is based on your personal and company's preferences and goals. So if your goal is to make an exit, I would recommend going with a local team. And that's because you'll have a higher valuation, a stronger autonomy, and therefore a better brand transferability. So when you work with a local team, the value of your brand is going to be higher because it's easier to let them work autonomously, and people are looking for when they are trying to buy your brand. Then if you are solely profit focused and you do not care so much about an exit, I would recommend going with a hybrid. This is going to give you a mix of control and the cost efficiency. And then I would put the executing roles into foreign talent. So let's say video editing, designing, and then strategic roles like the creative strategist or the UGC/influencer manager. I would keep these as local talent. And then the strategic roles, which is like the media buyer, I would keep these local. Then if you're just starting out, I would definitely recommend going with foreign workers because they are just a lot cheaper and, with less risk to hire them. Or you work with a partner. You find yourself a partner who also, is going to have shares in your business, and they will, well, if you cannot give yourself a salary, they will just work for free and work towards a common goal. So this is way faster, more affordable, and you'll have higher expertise because you can actually hire experts in foreign markets for a lower price, which is really good. Now, communication, and we touched that a little earlier, but the goal with communication is to communicate as efficiently and effective as possibly. Because communication is one of the most overlooked yet most important drivers of performance, especially when your business starts growing and your team starts to get bigger. Now, communication, and we touched that a little earlier, but the goal with communication is to communicate as efficiently and effective as possibly. Because communication is one of the most overlooked yet most important drivers of performance, especially when your business starts growing and your team starts to get bigger. So the old model looks like this. There's endless meetings for everything. People are over communicating. They want to talk and discuss every single part, and they schedule meetings for it. And then they, there's 5 minutes of random bullshit at the beginning of the meeting. And then there's like 20 minutes of actually meeting. And then there's 5 minutes of talking about like how the weekend's going to look like for everyone. So, it's just wasting a lot of time. Long, messy email threads, just way too much communication. And then also losing context between using different tools like calling and not recording the call, or like then mailing and just having everything, not having a structured way of connection or of communication, and that's going to lose a lot of context. That's the old model. You don't want to have this. The new model looks like this, and you're just going to need 3 softwares for this, maybe even 2 if you're working only physical. But the first one is Slack, and this is for instant, lightweight communication. You're going to use these for questions, updates, and quick task confirmations. And the rule here is that if it takes less than 2 minutes to say, it belongs in Slack. Don't call, don't schedule a meeting, just send a message through Slack. Then Loom is for more context heavy or visual communication. So this is still for like fast communication, lean communication, but if you have to like show different things, if you have to feedback something, if you have to walk through a task or do like a creative review, you're going to use Loom. The rule here is to use video instead of writing because you're going to be able to give a lot more context. And then the third one is meetings, and these are for strategy and alignment only. So use these to plan, to prioritize, or make key decisions. And the rule here is to never meet for something that could be explained in Slack or in a Loom. And this way you keep it very lean and fast, just like this Ferrari, instead of this rusty old, I have no idea what this car is called. So here again, you got the meetings. I would suggest at the beginning definitely only doing these meetings right here, because this is really all that's useful. Last pillar of the team, which is culture. And the goal here is to have a healthy and thriving work environment where everybody feels comfortable and where there's being focused on the right things. Because when scaling a team, things that weren't that important before now become very important, because your team culture will, in the long term, define the quality and longevity of your brand. And this is very important to get this right from the beginning, because when a culture has been created, it's very hard to change it. So it starts with you, obviously, and then you need to think about it from the beginning and build it up from the beginning, because when a new person is coming into your team and they come from a different culture, they immediately need to like be able to embrace the culture that you have, or your culture need to embrace that person. And what's happening when you hire a lot of people at the same time, and this is usually why people do not say that that's a good option, is that when you have a team of, let's say, 4 people and you hire 4 new people, then they are defining the half of your culture. So it's a lot harder for your culture to embrace all these 4 people at once than when there's just one person coming in. So I'd say there's 4 non-negotiables for a creative performance team culture. First one is ownership over output. Make everyone feel responsible for performance and not just their deliverables. So in the end, for your business, performance is the most important thing, because performance is earning money and a business should earn money. Otherwise, it's going to be out of business. So you can make your team can make a very beautiful video, but if it doesn't perform, it doesn't matter. So focus and let everyone feel responsible on the performance instead of what they're delivering. Then the second one, speed above perfection. Within the creative department, speed is the most important thing. You need to have fast testing, fast feedback, and fast iteration. So reward the momentum instead of the ego. So perfection doesn't exist in this world. You're never going to hit perfection. So I'd actually say that speed is perfection. And you want to reward people for building momentum, being fast, instead of trying to make everything look perfect, which is something that the ego wants to do. Then the third one is full transparency. So for making this work, to make everyone feel responsible for performance, of course, you have to be transparent about your performance and about the performance of the work that they do. So it's very important that everyone sees and understands the data and the scoreboard. So let's say ad performance and these type of things. And then the fourth one is no drama and just data. So when there are discussions, let the data be the referee. So then to have a team culture that is thriving and that is working together and that likes to work together, you need to have a good structure in the way you work together. And we do this with sprints. So the content cycle that I showed you, basically each content cycle is a sprint. And this is either 1 week or a 2-week sprint. And for this example, I went for a 1 week sprint. So what's happening? We have the different days of the weeks here. And in the morning on Monday, you're going to start, or basically every Monday of the morning of the day, you're going to start with a morning sync, or you can also call this a daily stand-up. What you do is in this meeting, everyone of the team comes together. Everyone talks about what task they have today, what task they had yesterday and what they were able to finish, and what they're going to do differently today than the day before. And per person, this shouldn't take any longer than 2 to 3 minutes. So this should maximum take 15 to 20 minutes to do in the morning, and then everyone is synced together and they can start working, they can start that day. On Monday, you also do a begin sprint meeting. So everyone, let's say you need to make 10 videos that week. You basically break down what needs to happen. So you put all the tasks in, and you assign the tasks to people, and then you schedule the tasks on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then on Friday in the afternoon, you do the end of sprint meeting. So there you basically reflect on the sprint, what worked, what did not work, where did we lag, where did we not lag, and how was the overall sprint, and how can we perform it, or how can we improve it the next time. And then we have the last main pillar, which is processes and workflow. And the goal here is to have the right infrastructure for your team to thrive. So the sub-pillars of this pillar are the workflow, which is basically the process, and the softwares that you use to optimize each step of the process. So here we have the content cycle again, which is basically the process. So you have start with researchers analyzing, then go to script writing, then to filming, then to editing/designing, and then to testing. And then you follow the same cycle, and you do this every single time. To keep everything in check and running smoothly, you of course need to manage the system, and we do that by project management. Usually I'd say this is in the beginning either you as a founder, or then when you hire the creative strategist with the right softwares, a creative strategist can pretty easily do this next to their other tasks. So let's go through all these different tasks that need to be done and how we can optimize them with softwares. So the first thing is going to be project management. And we're going to use a project management software for this, which I would say these are the best ones for that. We have Asana, then we have Monday, and we have ClickUp. Personally, I use Asana, and within this project management tools, they're basically all the same. We want to build a Kanban board or a Kanban board. And this is, for people that are not familiar with this, this is a Kanban board. It's a really simple one. On the left here, you have a backlog, and in here you place all of the tasks. So when you have the sprint meeting, let's say you put all the different tasks in the backlog, and then when they are being done, you basically slide them to doing. When they are finished and they need review, you slide them to review, and when they're done, they have been reviewed, they go to done. Then you have research and analyzing, and we already walked through this, of course. You have Answer the Public to find what people are searching for. Then you have Amazon to find reviews, and Reddit to find out what your audience is talking about, and then Triatria, where you can save all of the videos that you have been analyzing or that you found for inspiration. So I'd actually also add the meta library here, TikTok and Instagram, to find inspiration and send all of that to Triatria. Then we have script writing and briefing. I'd say use Google Drive for this, which is by far the best option because it's very easy to make all of the files that you need, and also to work together and to share files with people and also external people outside of your company. And then financially, it's very cheap. It's like $10 per active user. So it's not even that pricey. Then you have filming, and for filming, yeah, you use a camera, not really a software, but if you would want to optimize this and you are doing physical shoots, then Imaging Edge from Sony is a very good software to use. And what you can do, you can link this to your camera, and you can download the app on your phone or on your laptop as well. Or let's say if you have an iPad, you can do that on your iPad, and then you can watch what the camera is seeing. So you can see exactly basically what you're filming. And if you are working with, let's say, a videographer and a creative strategist, then the creative strategist who also has the shot list, they can have the iPad or their phone, and they can see what the videographer is filming. So you don't have to like stand behind the camera with two people watching at such a small screen, right? So it's a lot better this way. Then you have editing and designing. I really like the Sony softwares for this, Premiere Pro, Photoshop. This is dependent on what skill your video editor has and what your designer is used to work with. Some people work with Canva, which is getting more and more in depth as well. And some people are working with DaVinci Resolve or even CapCut. So in the end, again here, it's about the performance. It's not just about how great things are looking, but how fast can we make the videos, how good can we make them, and how good can the performance be. And whatever software you use here, it doesn't really matter, and it's very dependent on what the person you're hiring is already familiar with. Then Framio is a very good software, and I can show you here real quick. There we go. This is a platform where you can your video editor can put the videos in there, and then it's very easy for the team to give feedback on certain points within the video. I'm not sure if they're going to show it in this video. That would be very nice if they would, but I don't think they do. But you should check this out. Search it, frame.io. And here you can see that people are placing comments. You can tag people. So you can basically say, okay, second 15, boom, let the shot play 2 more seconds and bring in the supers. And then your your video editor knows exactly what to do at what points in the video. This is a game changer, and it's really, really good. And then for sounds, sound effects, music, background music, all these things, I'd suggest using Artlist. This is a pain in the ass if you do not have a sound library or a music library and you have to search it on YouTube. That's going to take a lot of time. It's going to easily take hours per week to do that. And Artlist is, you pay some money for it, but it's very easy to find new music for it, and it's all copyright free, which is great as well. And then for testing, you want to use Triple Whale, of course, for the UTM links and to have a good tracking. And then that in combination with Triatria is the best software stack that you can have for testing, because you use creative, or you use Triple Whale for the performance data, and then you use Triatria for the creative performance, hook rates, hold rates, CTR, average watch time, all these things. And it's just a lot easier to see the video performance in Triatria, which you cannot really see that good in Triple Whale. So this is the entire software stack I'd use to optimize every single step of your content cycle. So now we went through all of the different pillars that are needed to build our rocket. The creative strategy, which is the fuel of our rocket, the team, which is the engine or the thrusters, and then the process and workflow, which is the rocket itself. So we built a rocket, and now how are we going to let this rocket take off? And how are we actually going to implement all of this knowledge and actually make it succeed? And I want to talk a little bit about our program called Thrive and the Creative Engine OS here, because this is going to help you to build an in-house team that produces at least 15 to 30 new ad creatives per week in just 30 days. So what we have here is we have a much more in-depth masterclass, which is a full A to C course that shows you exactly how to build, launch, and scale an in-house content team. And then we help with the implementation. So we don't stop here. This is going to give you everything that you need to set up an in-house content production team or to scale your already existing in-house ad production team. But we also want to help you implement this, because you are going to run into problems, and we have a lot of experience with building teams and with creating content. We've been doing that in our agency for the last 3 years, helping hundreds of different brands. So you can get weekly support from my co-founder Thomas or me on everything about the Creative Engine OS system. And we've also built a 24/7 creative strategist AI, which you can always use to optimize your research, to write scripts, to build your personas, etc. You can leverage all of the templates, briefs, SOPs that we've built in the last 3 years, working for 100 different brands, creating thousands of ads. And you'll join a private founder community where you can connect with like-minded brand owners and also get accountability, ask all of your questions, and get answers straight away. So if you think this is interesting, then you can check out the link in the description, and you can book a call with me where I can talk to you a little bit more about how we do this and if it is actually a good program for you and if it's beneficial for you. So thank you so much for watching this video. Check out the link below, and we'll speak each other very soon. Ciao.